Good evening. There will be a public hearing of the Methuen City Council Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 6:45 here at the Great Hall. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Councilor Valley.
Present.
Councilor Campagnone. Here. Councilor DiZoglio. Councilor Pash.
Present.
Councilor Soto.
Present.
Councilor Cirillo.
Here.
Chair Marchand.
Here. Tonight's agenda, we have 3 public service grants. We'll do one at a time. So first up is Public Service Grant 311-99696 for Washington Street to install one JO pole on Washington Street.
Good evening. This pole on Washington Street and the other 2 poles we're requesting to place these in to increase reliability and reduce outage time in these areas. That's really the long and short of it. If you guys have any questions.
Any questions from the council? We have your packet, so we understand what the purpose of the poll is, so that's why there's usually minimal questions at this point. So
Yeah.
I just want to ask, is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on the public service grant for Washington Street? Seeing none from the public, I have Council Campagnone has one question for you for Washington.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. It's the same question as usual. After you've all done doing what you have to do, are you going to put the street back to the original appearance?
Yes, we have budget within this job to cut the sidewalk, to place the new pole, and then to replace the sidewalk around the pole and create a nice seal around it to make it look like it's level, to fit it level with the existing sidewalk.
Okay, we're not going to have any holes.
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I
Of
appreciate
course.
that.
Understandable.
Any other questions from the council? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. I'll close the public hearing. I'll take a vote. Motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Campagnone, seconded by Council Soto to close the public hearing on Washington Street. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Public Service Grant 312-11482, Pelham Street, to install one JO pole on Pelham Street. The floor is yours, sir.
Good afternoon, Select Board of Methuen. I'm here representing National Grid for this new pole that will be installed. It'll be between pole 1251 and pole 1249 on Pelham Street, Methuen. The pole will be labeled 1249-50. This pole will be set in place to accommodate new equipment to increase reliability in that area.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on the public service grant for the pole on Pelham Street? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. No more questions from the council?
Same question, Mr. Chair. Same question as previous. When you've all done, you're going to put the street back to not the original, but I mean, looking adequate.
Yes, we will be putting the street back to exactly how it was once we finish our work there. Correct.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
of course.
Any other questions from the council? I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on public.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Cirillo, seconded by Councilor Campagnone. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have one last grant, public service grant. It's the last public hearing. 311-99697 on Prospect Street to install one J pole on Prospect Street.
Good evening once again. This pole will be on Prospect Street. It will be between pole 3507 and 3506. It will be labeled P3506-50. And once again, this pole will be installed with equipment on it to improve reliability.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak on the Prospect Street public hearing? Seeing none, I'll close the public participation. Any other questions from the council?
No?
I'll entertain a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Campagnon, seconded by Council Soto to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Call the meeting to order. Methuen City Council, regular meeting, Monday, December 15th, 2025, 7 p.m. here at the Great Hall. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Campagnone. Here. Counselor DiZoglio. Here. Counselor Pesh. Counselor Soto.
Present.
Counselor Cirillo.
Here.
Counselor Valley.
Present.
And Chair Marsan.
Here,
All present.
all present. Need a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Campagnone, seconded by Council Soto. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, if we could move item 7 for citations and proclamations to before public participation, it would be greatly appreciated by the citation receivers.
We have a second for that?
Second.
So I have a motion to move number 7 to number 4. Any discussion?
Just to confirm with the city solicitor, do we have to break our rules for that too?
That's why we're taking a vote.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
Yep. I have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please remain standing.
Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced, by author James Baldwin. Mr. Chairman, if we could have a moment of silence for a family that had a death in Methuen, for Naza Corey. She is survived by her husband, Atif Corey, son James Corey, son Anthony Corey, daughter-in-law Shannon Corey, and 3 beautiful grandchildren. She was a business owner here in Methuen and a constituent that I met dearly and sat at her table many times to talk about Methuen. And I feel that I'm at a loss for her not being with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Please be
Thank you.
seated.
Thank you.
Is that going to be your way? That's yours. No.
Next, we'll do
Is that your way?
proclamation and correspondence. First up, we have the Jafrida brothers. Councilor DiZoglio, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Methuen City Council official citation is hereby presented to the Jafrida brothers, owner of JG's Methuen. The Methuen City Council issues this citation to the Jafrida brothers and JG's Ice Cream in recognition of their outstanding support from providing entertainment to our families, countless donations and charity events, and business that provides itself on training our students across the Merrimack Valley, responsibility as popular first job location. Your commitment to community engagement and consistent efforts to invest in the city of Methuen youth and families has made a lasting impact. Thank you and congratulations.
Mayor, do you want to read yours? Oh, come on, someone has to be the spokesman. You got to say something. We appreciate all you've done for the
I've been
city,
the chosen
so
one to speak.
here's your 5 minutes of fame.
Seriously, I want to thank, on behalf of my family, I want to thank the city council for the acknowledgement and for the being able to support the community. It's been an honor, of course, and we look forward to serving the community for many years, hopefully, ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's gone. Next up, we have Mark Kafour, Council Soto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 3 citations this evening. Brothers Mark Kafour, David Kafour, Gregory Kafour. The Kafour family has deep and long-standing roots in the city of Methuen. Brothers Mark, David, and Gregory Kafour were raised on East Street, attended the local Methuen schools, and grew up as part of the community they continue to support today. More than 20 years ago, the family established their corporate home office at 280 Merrimack Street, Methuen, which remains the operational center of their business. The Kafua family owns 9 Dunkin' restaurants, and between these locations and their Methuen home office, they employ over 300 people, many of whom are Methuen residents. The Kafua family has a long history of philanthropy and community support. When the Methuen Police Department sought to add a new K-9 unit, the Kafua family donated the funding for the K-9 dog. His name was Duncan. They also contributed the resources needed to build a Duncan dugout to improve local baseball facilities. Beyond these public contributions, the family has made numerous charitable donations anonymously to support local needs throughout the city. During the development of their home office, the Kafua family worked closely, collaboratively with abutters and neighborhood residents, earning their support throughout the permitting and construction process. Their ongoing commitment to Methuen reflects both their appreciation for the community that raised them and their dedication for giving back. I would like to recognize the brothers Mark, David, and Gregory Kafua, each with a citation this evening. And before I hand it to them, I'd like to read it. The Methuen City Council proudly recognizes the Kafua family for their deep roots in the city of Methuen, their significant contributions to the local economy, and their longstanding commitment to our community and to community service. Through their business leadership, philanthropy, and continued investment in Methuen, the Kafua family exemplifies dedication to the city they proudly once called home. Congratulations and best wishes. Thank you, Kafua family.
On behalf of my brothers and I, we want to thank you. Being raised in the city, Donald P. Timoney School was the year that Donald passed away, and I was there. But growing up in the city and being part of the community has always been very special to us. Methuen's very close to our hearts, and that's why our offices are here. We're very happy to support the community in which, supports us. So anything that we can do, please let us know, because that's what we like to do. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
So we'll take a 5-minute recess, take a picture.
Motion for a 5-minute recess?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
5-minute recess.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna take a picture.
Call the meeting back to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Counselor Campagnone. Here. Counselor DiZoglio.
Here.
Counselor Pesh.
Present.
Counselor Soto.
Present.
Counselor Cirillo. Counselor Valley.
Present.
Chair Marsan.
Here.
All present.
All present. Next up, we'll have public participation. Anyone that comes to the podium, you'll have 5 minutes to speak. I'm a Methuen resident. Try to keep it to no personal attacks, and just, if you do, say my name. Go through me, all right? So, first up, Jack Burke.
Good evening. My name's Jack Burke. Live at 49 Cannaviola Road. I'd like to start with a statement. What I see before me is often divisive discourse and votes instead of cooperative, responsible rhetoric attempting to solve citywide problems. Rather than take up time with two jaunts to the podium, I will simply make statements on two issues and then retire back to my seat. I'd like to talk about health care for elected officials, TR 25-73. This will open the door, if approved, to allow all elective personnel on the ballot to request similar capability. How many people could be affected? Considerably more than 9 city councilors. Soon, we'll have to add committee persons, school committee persons, Methuen Housing Authority, Nevins Memorial Library trustees, and Greater Lawrence Technical School Committee persons. This adds 12 more people which are not accounted for by the CAFA numbers. The wording, including other elected officials, is a little prejudicial to the other officials, excluding, excuse me. This clearly should be withdrawn. I am emphatically against this measure. I believe that this is a conflict of interest. You qualify for this by state law, but as elected persons representing a constituency, you should make this a ballot question and let your real employers make this decision. This should be considered similarly to a raise for the council. This should be restated to make it effective after the next election cycle, similar to a raise. I may have missed that in the documents, but it did not seem to be stated that way. Now I'd like to speak about TO 2518, the development on Cross Street. I am also against this. The traffic data did not appear to be current, though it was not clear when the data was taken. There was no information on the testing of the ground to assure it is not contaminated. It seems out of character for the West District. Most residential construction is 2 or some 3-story structures. None seem to be 4 or 5 stories in height. The method for cross-street development assumes that community groups will add an input, and it aligns with neighborhood needs. I did not see that in the documents. What about green space, public art, and pedestrian-friendly design elements? There should be sustainable building practices and energy-efficient systems. I didn't hear or see any electric vehicle charging stations for the property residents. Seems there needs to be more input to this plan before approval of any change to zoning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up is Ignacy Vandekar. I'm sure I said it wrong, but sorry.
How you doing? Ignacio Gandarilla. I am a resident on 256 Oakland Avenue. Good evening. My name is Ignacio Gandarilla. My daughter who is currently at third grade at the student the Tenney Grammar School. I'm here today on behalf of my family because we are advocating appropriate care and educational support for my daughter. After waiting approximately 1 year, she was finally granted an individual education plan, IEP, this year, largely due to the lack of available psychology services and school counselor within the Methuen school system. This delay have a significant impact on her educational and emotional well-being. In addition to being a parent, I'm also a mental health counselor clinician serving this community. I work for the Diverse Understanding Mental Health Counseling, where I provide services to adolescents, including students within the Methuen Public School. Through my professional role, I work closely with many families who share the same concern I'm raising today. Specifically, the critical shortage of school counselors and mental health support for our children. I have also witnessed colleagues and friends qualified for school counselors being laid off last summer. At the same time, student emotional and behavioral needs are increasing. This send a troubled message that mental health and emotional well-being are not being treated as a priority within our public school. Children cannot be expected to succeed academically if their emotional and psychological needs are not being addressed. As many as us remember from our childhood and adolescence, these are among the most challenging stages in our life. Without structured guidance and consistent support, it becomes extremely difficult for our students to move forward in a positive and productive way, academically, socially, and emotionally. By the time students turn 18, society often expects them to function independently, yet many have not been given that foundation support needed to develop coping skills emotionally, regulation, and resilience. The lack of early intervention only compounds this challenge later in life. I am deeply concerned that this issue is currently not being treated as a priority despite its clear and lasting impact on students and families. Through my clinical work, I have observed that many students are suspended at their first discipline incident rather than being provided with therapeutic or supportive intervention. I have also noticed the patterns that raise concern about discriminatory discipline actions, particularly affecting students from certain cultural or socioeconomic background. I'm here today to strongly advocate for increased mental health support within our school. This issue is not only personal to my family, it affects countless families in our community. Our children deserve access to counseling and emotional support, equitable treatment, so they can thrive both in school and their life. Thank you for your time and for hearing this very serious and urgent concern.
Thanks, sir. Next up is Ben Exumfer, 318 Ferry Road.
Ben Thompson, right?
My name is Ben. Good evening. My name is Ben Thompson. I'm a member of 318 Ferry Road in Haverhill, and I'm an employee of Methuen Public Schools. I have worked as a program assistant at the Marsh Grammar School since March of 2022. I work with autistic students in a substantially separate environment. I'm here tonight because I was disappointed in the decision by Councillor Pesh, to vote no confidence in Dr. Kwong, and I was further disappointed that Councillor Cirillo added the school committee on there as well. Dr. Kwong has worked in the school, both schools for over 20 years. First as a teacher, and then many years as administrator before becoming superintendent. During her time as superintendent, she navigated many challenges, including high staff turnover, the COVID-19 pandemic, and internal staff conflicts and budget shortfalls. When reflecting upon her 7 years as superintendent, Dr. Kwong recently said, over the past 7 years, the superintendent, as superintendent, I successfully have navigated the school department through COVID-19, accomplished important work together that deserve through student experiences, expanding student access to quality academic and social experiences, and driving better outcomes for all learners in Methuen Public Schools. Like many, I did not always agree with Dr. Kwong, but I admire her commitment to the students of this city. We'll continue to be asked to do more with less. Over the past 7 years, since 2019, as of June, the numbers are a little bit different now. There's been some improvement made, but as the state's contribution increased 50%, $200,000, the city's contribution decreased 6% in that same time period, while the free cash and reserves were increased. While I am proud of the work the Methuen Education Association, School Committee, and the Mayor have done to improve teacher pay, reduce staff layoffs, and school funding for the schools, there still take many years to undo the systemic underfunding and neglect of Methuen Public Schools. Since less than 5 years, most of the teachers I have worked with and paraprofessionals I've worked with alongside have left. I have worked under 4 special education administrators. Currently at the Marsh, we have multiple special education administrators running at least 2 special education teachers running at least 2 classrooms. We don't have enough program assistants. We don't have enough substitutes. And as the gentleman who spoke for me, we don't have enough school counseling staff. Since Dr. Kwong had already announced that she was resigning by the end of the school year, voting no confidence in her does not change the future outcome of Methuen Public Schools. And nor will address the systemic problems that led to these shortfalls. It is worth noting the school committee is an elected body. Therefore, they are not under the jurisdiction to be dismissed. And the same they, as an elected body, the voters in Methuen had confidence in them to lead our schools. Those are the same voters that had confidence in you to lead city council. I strongly implore the city council, the mayor, and the school committee to work together to ensure that Dr. Gabowski-Twomey and Dr. Kwong's ultimate successor can have the resources they need to continue to improve within our schools and make sure that we get the crisis is resolved once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Caitlin Duffy.
Hi, thank you very much for having us here for this. I just wanted to speak on 2 parts. First, the health insurance quickly. I would love to know more information about the impact, the financial impact this could have on the city, as well as what it opens us up to for other members that are working for the city, volunteering, and other aspects of that. Secondly, the vote of no confidence in Dr. Kwong as well as the school committee. Ben really targeted a lot of the wonderful things Dr. Kwong has done over her time. But since that vote of no confidence, I've done some of my own personal reflecting on the issue. I am a parent, I am a teacher in the district, and I don't believe that a systemic failure of schools is one person or even adding just the school committee is enough. We are a community. We use the terminology school community all the time. This should include school and city leaders, teachers, and even parents. If we have failed as a community. And since schools involve so much more than just academics, we as a Methuen community need supports to avoid systemic failure. Schools are tasked with way more than implementing academics and teaching. We support families with being unhoused and underfed, with mental illnesses. We navigate language and cultural differences, challenging family dynamics, and student and parent behaviors. When we combine all of this, there is a systemic failure in the system as a whole. And I even say, how does it start with me? Do I need to be on this list of no confidence? As a parent, I have so much influence over my own child. Have I questioned my own contribution in the areas of literacy development and academic support for my children? Did I read to them enough? Am I consistently checking their homework and grades? Do I demonstrate support for their teachers by openly communicating with them or responding to messages in a timely manner? Do I ever ask, how can I help my child more? Have I paid enough attention to my children and their access to the virtual world to ensure that harassment and bullying have not occurred? Have I established being a good human in my children? Do I need to do more of this? Am I modeling this for my children? I've been a Methuen Public Schools teacher for 12 years. I am a special education teacher in the district. And I'm saying, what can I do more of? How can I grow as an educator? Should I be volunteering my time after school to do tutoring to help us increase these scores? Do I communicate enough with my parents? Do they feel that they can communicate with me? Am I up to date on the best practices for academic development? Am I doing my best, and what can I do to do better? I ask as a community that we all do some self-reflection. After the vote, I had all of these thoughts just swirling through my head, and I hope that as I read some of these to you, you wonder, have you done enough? Can you do more to ensure that we have a successful school community? Have you advocated, and by you, it's general everybody here, have I advocated for more community supports and resources from the city, which inherently would support our schools? Have I ensured community members access these programs? And if they don't, how do we get them there? Have I advocated for more money for our students? Do I recognize that although Methuen may fund above the national average and we're growing in the right direction, we have been underfunded compared to state averages for years, yet we hold our test scores accountable to all of these other communities. We are a low-funded community and a high-funded, high-scoring state. Have I considered what the school district could do with more money, such as attracting highly qualified special education teachers for our most exceptional students, or more interventionists to improve math and literacy scores? Let's face it, schools are big, busy, and kids are messy. Our yearly deep cleans of our schools being funded, whether it be through Methuen custodial staff, city employees, a company, does the school budget have enough funds for our biggest building improvement needs? Have we advocated for regular building health inspections prior to recent incidences? And are we advocating for that now? Have I used my position, my voice, to advocate to our state and federal legislature for more funding? As a community, we could fund workshops to support families in areas of need, such as understanding what we even have to offer, having groups around navigating families to help them with the virtual world, developing compassionate kids, navigating mental illness. These are all community concerns and not something that should fall solely on the school system. If at any time you thought, how can I do more based on my own personal reflections? How can I do more? Have I done enough? Then maybe you should also be added to the vote of no confidence. As I said, add my name. Let's face it, if we can fund castles and not some of these community resources and school needs, we fail to realize that we're not living in a fairy tale where schools can do it all. We are a community with real needs, and not one entity is the sole reason that we cannot have a successful education system. As a community, I encourage our community leaders and residents, parents, and teachers to work together to move forward and to do better together. Thank you.
Thank you. Alejandro Baez.
Good evening, members of the City Council, its officers, and the Mayor's office. Also, the community as a whole. My name is Alejandro Baez. I live on 152 Center Street. Tonight, you all will be following the procedure for a second read on an already 5-2 vote of no confidence in our superintendent and current school committee. Once again, I am not here to persuade your vote either way. I'm not even here to caution you all on to refrain from manipulating procedures to stall this vote. No. I am here to discuss what comes next and how that should happen. First and foremost, I wish the best of luck to our interim superintendent, Dr. Galapsi Twumi, and peace and health for Dr. Kwong. Despite the rhetoric, despite the politics, and despite side choosing, we all know that to a certain extent, we have issues in our school district. That is a statement that I feel comfortable saying because no institution is perfect, but more so because an operational audit showed us, told us, and proved it to us. Therefore, despite the outcome of tonight, I propose the following. On Monday, April 7th of this year, an RFP was made available to the public. An RFP is a request for proposals where firms bid to earn the city's business. Anyways, that RFP closed on April 30th, giving firms only 3 weeks to send in proposals. This RFP was for a financial audit of the Methuen Public Schools. From my understanding, this RFP has since been closed. Now, we all know the spring is budget season, and I may not be aware of all of the context behind the RFP. However, standing in front of you tonight, I do believe it is the right course of action. We are in the starting stages of our superintendent search, spearheaded by Mayor Beauregard and school committee member Donovan Grassi. I believe we have an opportunity here. A real opportunity that wasn't taken advantage of the first time around. We have the opportunity to start fresh and get behind a new administration and new leadership. I, for one, will take that opportunity. One of the only action steps left is to make sure that when this community chooses its next superintendent, that they have all the tools, resources, and information needed to succeed. We have an opportunity to make sure that our operational audit that outlines structural and administrative failures be taken into account with a forensic audit that we can identify ways we have been mismanaging our funds and or ways we can better manage our budget. Mayor Beauregard, Member Willett from the school committee, and many others elected officials have warned of an even greater budget crisis next time around. Let's invest in this audit for the long-term success of our administration, for our long-term success of our education, and so that the situations of concerned community members and parents like El Señor Ignacio, like Ms. Guzman, and many other parents, staff members, faculty, and members of the community don't have to raise those concerns for you all at this mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Jessica McLeod.
Good evening. My name is Jessica McLeod. I live at 15 Belmont Street. I have a fairly unique experience within Methuen Public Schools. I have a child who's graduated from the school system. I served on school committee during the COVID era, and I now am a teacher at the Timony Grammar School. And I am incredibly happy and proud to be a teacher in Methuen Public Schools. I want to be abundantly clear that I'm deeply disappointed with the turn of events and with the votes that transpired last week. Dr. Kwong has served this community for 27 years, and the way this resolution has unfolded, publicly, abruptly, and without shared ownership, has caused damage. Your votes last week were harmful, and not just to Dr. Kwong, but to the morale of the entire district. I have read the audit carefully, the same audit being used to justify this action. The lowest rated area in the audit was budget and funding, with a score of 2 out of 5. It wasn't leadership that was scored lowest. It wasn't vision. It was funding. This matters because the staffing crisis we are experiencing is not hypothetical. Across our surrounding communities right now, including our community of Methuen, Andover, North Andover, Lawrence, Tewksbury, and Haverhill, there are right now 30 SPED teacher positions open and at least 20 program assistant positions open. So that is the labor market we are working in. The shortage of qualified educators are real, and it's particularly painful in the special education department. This does not console parents who are justifiably upset that their children are not receiving the services they need. Unfortunately, the children with the most vulnerability factors will continue to suffer the dysfunction of the system if, as a city, we don't change course. Because this is the part that cannot be ignored. There's a choice. Candidates can choose where they want to work. If we want Methuen to staff our classrooms, meet IEPs, and stabilize programs, we must, as a district, be a district that educators want to choose, one that offers competitive conditions, professional respect, and visible support from their governing bodies. Public votes of no confidence do the opposite. They do not attract talent. They do not stabilize systems. They signal risk. And it is not just teachers who are watching. Superintendent candidates will watch these meetings. They're watching to see how leadership is treated. They're watching whether responsibility is shared or deflected, which makes me wonder, who would choose to work here? This is a call for joint responsibility, a unified public financial plan, shared oversight between city council and school committee, a cultural reset grounded in resources, consistency, and collaboration. These are not problems a superintendent can solve in isolation. And what confuses me deeply is watching members of this body distance themselves from responsibility when some of you have held power in this city longer than Dr. Kwong was superintendent. The district we see today is a manifestation of years of underfunding and accumulated choices. You cannot starve a system, then express outrage when it struggles, and then place blame on the person trying to keep it functioning. Staff morale is low. We have not forgotten about last year's cuts that were reversed in the 11th hour, not because of this body's design, but because of luck through state funding. And the pattern is familiar: underfund and then blame. I am especially alarmed by the casual way in which receivership has been discussed recently, as though it is a solution or worse, a threat. Receivership would strip this city of local control entirely. That is not accountability, that is abandonment, and it is not appropriate for Methuen. Local control means local ownership, and ownership means shared responsibility. School committees members showing up last week in support of Dr. Kwong, or perhaps more appropriately, against the vote of no confidence, are not anyone's lapdogs. They are leaders who understand the gravity of this moment and the long-term consequences of what is unfolding right now. We are at a crossroads. We can you can fire that second arrow, escalate, divide, and fracture this city further. Or you can hold it and move forward with wisdom, collaboration, and courage. Making the choice to stand down is, as it reads at the bottom of your agenda, for the good and welfare of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other Methuen resident that would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. Oh, sorry, we're going to read a couple of correspondence we have before I close it.
Mr. Chairman, an email from Mary Beth Donovan Grassi. Hello, councilors and councilors-elect. I know you are receiving feedback regarding some of the data used in the vote of no confidence resolution. As part of your independent research and for the future, you may find DESE dashboard helpful. It allows for a more nuanced look at the data provided directly by the state. It is a fairly new tool, and I find it very helpful. One benefit of this tool is the ability to compare Methuen with similar gateway cities, supporting a more equitable understanding of students' strengths and needs. The data descriptions, often noted by the asterisk, also provide important context for interpreting the information accurately. I have attached my well-worn reference sheet showing reading benchmark results from the close of the last school year. I will be happy to refer you to the other benchmark testing data for the start of this year. That data reflects across student groups the percentages of students reading at or above grade level in Methuen. For a broader context, the nation's report card, which has been referenced frequently in recent news, offers a useful national comparison to what is happening to reading levels across the country. Spoiler alert, it is not good news, and we have a great deal of work to do. As I shared from the podium last week, I would welcome the opportunity to discuss this data as well as other elements of the resolution and to explore how we can work together in an informed and productive way. I am not currently in Methuen, but hope to be back for tonight's meeting. I hope we can work together in our respective roles to best support our students and families. Thank you, Mary Beth Donovan Grassi. I have one more, go ahead.
I'll read the next one. Dear members of the Methuen City Council, I'm writing this with a heavy heart and deep frustration regarding the recent vote of no confidence in Superintendent Dr. Kwon. I wholeheartedly and passionately disagree with this decision. It is painful to see a leader who has worked tirelessly for our students and educators publicly undermined in this way. Dr. Kwon has shown courage, compassion, and steady leadership during some of the most challenging years public education has ever faced. While others criticized from the sidelines, she stood in the arena, making difficult decisions, listening to families and staff, and carrying the weight of those choices and professionalism and care. That kind of leadership deserves respect, not a vote that calls her commitment and competence into question. This vote does more than criticize one individual. It sends a discouraging message to every educator and staff member who shows up each day for our children. It damages morale, fractures trust, and creates instability where unity and focus are deeply and desperately needed. Our schools should not be collateral damage for political disagreement. I am profoundly disappointed with the City Council that chose the path that's one rooted in collaboration, dialogue, and support. Dr. Kwon has earned the confidence of many of these communities, myself included, through her dedication, integrity, and unwavering belief in the value of public education. I stand firmly and unapologetically in support of the Superintendent, Dr. Kwon. I urge you to reflect on the impact of this decision, not just on leadership, but on the students, families, and educators who depend on stability and strong guidance. Our district deserves better than division. It deserves leadership that is supported, not publicly dismantled. Respectfully, Lisa Pickett.
Thank you. Great. Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Christopher Lane, and I live at 48 Calumet Road. I am a lifelong resident of Methuen, 48 years. I have worked in Methuen Public Schools Tech Department in various capacities for the last 16 years. I am a proud graduate of Methuen High School and Harvard University. And as I write to you today, I find it deeply unfortunate that in a job that is all about education, my education has never been valued. My purpose in writing is to shed light on a variety of long-standing issues that impact not just the tech team, but the quality of education we are able to offer our children in Methuen. Issues like the ones I would like to bring to your attention often disappear in a black box because people do not feel free to speak even as they are leaving a position, as they understandably want to maintain good relations with past employers and colleagues. However, I recently resigned as operations manager for Methuen Public Schools as I feel the workplace has deteriorated to an unacceptable level and frankly cannot stay silent about many of the problems I have encountered. I had intended to give 2 weeks' notice, but all of my accounts were immediately shut down, as if I was somehow going to sabotage either my team or the schools, both of whom I have given so much to. I found this particularly disrespectful, as I will note that the previous director's account is still active, which creates a huge potential security liability. I could explain why it is still active, but I'd rather not name names in this email. I also fear your head might explode if I did explain. When I began working on the tech team, each school had their own tech budget, and as a result, there was no equity amongst buildings, with one school spending frivolously on the latest tech trends while others were nearly in the Stone Age. I worked diligently with a colleague to bring all the schools up to the same standard over the years, and it is widely acknowledged that the team has made vast improvements system-wide. I have personally worked uncompensated weekends and nights, been on call practically 24/7 for tech issues, and even worked for free for a short time when like clockwork, yet another budget issue arose. I was only in parking lots foolishly sticking my head in cars to pass out devices during COVID, so students would be able to work from home during the crisis. I recruited friends, family members, and teachers to lend a hand during the summer because setting up 1,200 Chromebooks alone is not reasonable in 6 weeks. Oddly, now that I have left, admin is looking into using a white glove service which would handle the process of unboxing and enrolling 1,200 Chromebooks, which will needlessly cost the city more money. And while at one point I was offered the director position, I knew I would be more valuable as a working member of the team. I don't tell you this to boast, but to demonstrate how dedicated I was to the Methuen Public Schools. I have never asked for a raise nor ever complained about not being reimbursed for gas for driving my personal vehicle between school buildings nearly every day. I never asked for overtime or weekend pay and was not reimbursed for a special speech-to-text app I purchased for a student. I have been giving much of myself over these years to the schools, but everyone has a breaking point, even worse than the disrespect in the way you feel about yourself for normalizing and justifying this behavior. My proudest achievement has been putting together the current tech team. I had a hand in hiring all but 2 of the current staff, one of whom was there prior to my hire and has served as a mentor to me. The other is truly phenomenal, and as soon as he realized this value, I'm certain will be looking for greener pastures, as he never received his promised raise or has been allowed to work from home a few days a week as part of his initial job offer. It is genuinely alarming how underpaid and overworked the Methuen tech team is in comparison to similar jobs in other sectors with comparable responsibilities. My now former team is a group of dedicated professionals with extensive knowledge and experience in the tech field. Both their expertise and the fact that they could be far better compensated in the private sector is rarely acknowledged. We choose to work for schools because of the belief in the importance of public education, but the skills and ability to the team are such that, for example, one previous member of the team left to work at a company that is developing satellites for the government. He is quite honestly a computer genius who stayed too long because he was loyal to me, as well as the notion of contributing to the mission of the schools. It bears noting again that he also ultimately left because of the poor working conditions and unprofessional treatment. We have both been directed by admin to copy software and videos for which we didn't have the licenses. A prime example of the unprofessional treatment and the constant on-again, off-again discussion whether to merge the cities and schools' tech teams. While the idea is not without merit, constantly floating idea without actually consulting any of the actual tech team members indicates a disturbing lack of understanding or even a desire to understand what the process would actually entail. I understand there is hierarchy to be respected here, but I think we can agree that having someone who struggles to use a laptop or plug in an HDMI cable making these decisions seems short-sighted and best insulting at worst. I don't ask my doctor to diagnose my car engine issues, for instance. It demonstrates a real lack of respect to not actively loop in and consult the employees on both teams about these proposed changes. You don't have to change your plans, but inclusion of the team would be both the more honorable and effective way to truly plan for such a change. Consider at minimum the difference in scale between the city and the schools. The schools have many more employees with far less training and more turnover, and yet we have never had a cybersecurity breach. Conversely, the city has had to pay a ransom, and city staff is not exactly thrilled with the support they have received. The school's team's reputation speaks for itself. I encourage you to ask anyone in the school district. Please don't take my word for it. I am confident most, if not all, will tell you how pleased they are with the school's tech team and their expertise. At one point on our team, we had a graduate of Phillips Academy who went on to work as a number of 2 employees at an actual rocket science company, and well as a Harvard graduate who built a team that oversees more than 10,000 devices with no issues. However, it seems only in Methuen is a graduate of ITT Tech most respected. So I will offer a piece of free advice. Organizationally, leave the schools with a tech director, the city with a tech director, and hire a real CIO, CTO. The city needs to move forward, not backwards. Having worked in the district for 16 years, overseeing the day-to-day tech, thank you, Counselor, day-to-day tech operations, I am intimately familiar with the working of nearby every department in the school system. In the rest of this letter, I will enumerate some concerning issues I feel are gravely impacted the quality of the school system. My purpose is not to assign blame, to call out specific individuals, but to rather shed some light on some areas which desperately need improvement for the sake of the staff and the students in the school. I was responsible for managing the ticket system where problems and issues are brought to the attention of a variety of teams, and in so doing saw not just all of the tech tickets, but those going to HR and facilities as well. I was aware of when tickets were reported by staff and how long it took them to be resolved. I know how new staff are onboarded. I could go on about these processes at length, but instead I will just note it is common practice to give new staff access to the buildings to work with children before HR is finished processing their paperwork. So new hires have access to children in the buildings for months, but the tech team's been directed to not give them accounts or a badge. Does that make any sense to you? It shouldn't. And then when a principal got so desperate that they had to come to me for help and I made the accounts, HR talked about me behind my back. This is extensive. I think I'm way past my 5 minutes. Do you want me to finish, Chairman?
I'll read the. I'll read one
Okay,
last,
thank you.
I'm going to read one last paragraph from it. There's 5 more pages here. Finally, I must reiterate that I am writing this email and I am not seeking vindication, nor am I aiming to assist blame. I hope to illuminate, as a lifelong resident of Methuen, with almost 2 decades of service in the system and grave concerns I have for the Methuen Public Schools. The on-again, off-again administration position and district insist that they need also to put the city council in a bind. Perhaps the council would be cast as the bad guy in every budget dispute if we made sure they were funding an essential students, the fine arts and the wellness. Thank you. Christopher Lane. So with that, we'll move on. Organizational business.
I'll keep it quick. It's just, my name is Krista Maxwell, 5 East Prospect Street. I want to respond to the statement that 70% of our students are at grade level. That conclusion comes from internal benchmark data, not our state assessment. Presented on its own, that data is misleading. When we look at MCAS, the only standards-aligned, independently administered measure we have, only about 30% of our students in grades 3 through 8 are meeting or exceeding expectations in English, language arts, and math. That's a very different picture. Benchmarks are useful for instruction, but they are not designed to determine grade level proficiency. When benchmark data and MCAS data tell 2 very different stories, we have an obligation to rely on the more rigorous, externally validated measure. Saying 70% of our students are at grade level minimizes the real challenges our students and educators are facing. The MCAS data makes it clear too many of our students are not where they need to be, and we need to be honest about that if we're going to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. Organizational business, we have none. Reading and acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting, December 1st, 2025, regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Soto, seconded by Council Cirillo. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
I'll be recorded as present.
Okay. Presentations, we have none. We'll move on to the mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, councilors. We'll dive right into my report for tonight. First, regarding the trash and recycling RFP, we're in the process of coordinating a meeting between me, Director Bauer, the CAFO and her team, and the solicitor to review the latest draft and prepare to publish it so we can get the bid process done early and with plenty of time before the start of the next fiscal year, so we're not under the gun, so to speak, to approve a contract at the last minute. We're getting a nice and early start to the whole thing, which is good. Regarding the school audit, as I mentioned during the last meeting, we'll be scheduling the follow-up meeting with the auditors from CBIZ once the new city council and school committee are both seated in January. I do want to mention that we are going back out to bid for the financial audit aspect. We originally went out to bid earlier in the year. We received only one response. I was concerned that we had only received one response, but we're going to be going back out for that and trying again. My plan is to come to you with a request to cover the cost for that aspect of the audit from free cash. So we'll move forward with that once we receive our free cash certification from the state in the new year. I want to share an update regarding the Human Trafficking Task Force. One of the biggest issues we had in Methuen for years was that there were literally zero bodywork regulations on the books in our city. This left a huge gap in terms of the ability of city inspectors to hold illicit business owners' feet to the fire from a regulatory standpoint. The Board of Health very recently, literally within the past couple of days, adopted new emergency regulations that immediately fill this regulation void. A more extensive process will follow to ensure these reforms are made permanent in the coming months. To provide a brief summary, the new bodywork regulations create a clear health and safety-focused framework for businesses operating in our city. Any bodywork establishment must obtain and annually renew a local license from the Board of Health, undergo background checks and regular inspections, carry proper insurance, and operate only in non-residential, properly zoned spaces. Facilities must meet strict cleanliness, room size, lighting, ventilation, and visibility standards, keep doors unlocked during business hours, and have at least one CPR-trained staff member on site at all times. Practitioners must be locally licensed, follow hygiene and infection control rules, and provide added protections for minors. Businesses must keep detailed records for at least 3 years, comply with set hours of operation, and operate under the approved business name only, and they are strictly prohibited from illegal conduct or unlicensed medical activity. If massage services are offered, both the establishment and practitioners must also hold not only the required state massage licenses, but also the new Methuen Bodyworks licenses. Having clear, enforceable bodywork regulations gives the city concrete tools to deter trafficking, identify bad actors early, and distinguish legitimate businesses from fronts for exploitation. So this is something that we're continuing to address and reform to ensure that we keep that issue at bay. Regarding the unaccepted roads discussion, DPW has been working to create an interactive GIS-based map for unaccepted roads. They're making good progress on that project, so that's going to be a new resource that'll be available to residents in short order. Thanks to Councilor Valley for including that on the agenda and keeping it at the top of the list. Regarding Old Ferry Road, Director Bauer, Deputy Director Garcia, and I convened a meeting with business owners in that area to provide them with an opportunity to hear from the folks from McClure about their ongoing engineering work. We'll be putting all the information we shared with the business owners that day on the website and bringing the group together more frequently to keep them in the loop as the project continues to unfold. As a broader strategy to strengthen police recruitment and stay competitive in a challenging labor market, I recently approved the City of Methuen's participation in the Local Register Program. The Local Register Program gives Methuen a real competitive advantage in police hiring by allowing the city to build and maintain a ready pool of qualified candidates who specifically want to work here instead of competing with dozens of other communities for the same limited statewide lists. While all civil service standards still apply, of course, this approach shortens hiring timelines, reduces the likelihood of losing strong candidates to faster-moving cities, and allows Methuen to act quickly when vacancies occur. In today's tight law enforcement labor market, this flexibility is critical to maintaining staffing levels and ensuring consistent public safety services for our residents. I think it's a win for our city, and I'm grateful to Chief McNamara for continuing to push for it behind the scenes. I am very pleased to share that a major initiative of our Safe Streets for All task force, I'm referring to my push for redesigns of the two most dangerous intersections in our city at East Milk and Prospect Streets and Park and Lawrence Streets, will be moving forward with your blessing. On tonight's agenda, there are two contracts with TEC out of Lawrence for transportation engineering services for both intersections. Congresswoman Trahan was kind enough to include a request for federal funding to assist with these projects, but as I've mentioned, my concern is that interest on the part of Congress to invest in projects along these lines in blue states is minimal, so I'm prepared to go it alone if we must and tackle these very important projects on the local front with your help. Regarding some upcoming events, Nothing Bunt Cakes is holding their grand opening event at the Loop this Wednesday, December 17th at 11 a.m. We've been in touch with Eddie Pinozzo. He's the owner of the business and doing everything we can to make sure they're able to have a successful Methuen rollout this week. The Veterans Expo and Luncheon will be taking place at the Methuen Senior Center this Wednesday from 11:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon. Many area agencies will be available with information about benefits available to veterans and their families, and all veterans are welcome. Also on Wednesday, the Veterans Holiday Party is scheduled from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Irish Cottage. They'll have plenty of food available for our veterans along with some live music. Keep in mind that City Hall will be closed for Christmas from the 24th through the 26th of December. We'll be closing the building at noon on New Year's Eve and on New Year's Day. The City of Methuen's inaugural ceremony will be held at the Methuen Memorial Music Hall on Friday, January 2nd at 5 p.m. We'll be firing up the organ. Excited about that, and I'm sure it'll be a wonderful event for all of our elected officials. I'm going to try to keep that brief because I have a citation to share as well as a couple of recognitions. First, what I'd like to do is for our friend George. I'd like to share a citation for Subdeacon George Raheb from Methuen, of course. On behalf of the entire city, I'll read the citation. On behalf of the entire city, I offer congratulations to George Raheb in recognition of the joyous celebration of your subdeaconate ordination at St. Anthony Maronite Church. Congratulations and blessings on this most holy event, given this 5th day of November. It's supposed to be the 5th day of November, the 15th day of December at this point, since I've been so sick lately, from me and Mayor's office. Congratulations, Subdeacon. And now I'm going to continue with a tradition that was started by our late mayor, Neil Perry. We last did this a couple years back when we had several outgoing members of the city council. We literally followed the plaque makeup, tying it exactly to the types of plaques that he handed out. So I'm going to begin with recognition of Councilor Cirillo in grateful appreciation and distinguished recognition for your hard work and commitment to serving on the city council 2024 through 2025. Councilor Cirillo came aboard during a time of loss and transition in our city, and I thank you, sir, for stepping up and serving our community when we needed it most in terms of filling my seat actually on the city council. So I'll present this now to Councilor Cirillo. Next, we have a member of the council, a former member of the council, who left us earlier in the year. She's here with her family tonight. I'd like to present a plaque in gratitude to former councilor Allison Safi in recognition of her tremendous work for our city over the past couple of years. We had gone through a lot, starting in 2020 with pandemic. We had a lot of controversy in the city, and Councilor Safi was an integral part of helping to move our city forward. And so with that, I'd like to present this plaque to former Councilor Safi. Next, we have my former classmate, Councilor DiZoglio, presenting this to you in recognition and appreciation for your hard work and commitment serving the city for the past 6 years. It's been a great run, and I wish you all the best. I'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks on the school committee, but nevertheless, I'd like to share this with you, Councilor. Last but certainly not least, Councilor Campagnone. Councilor Campagnone has served our city for many, many years. And tonight, assuming this is the last meeting of the year, not exactly sure, there may be a special meeting, who knows? But assuming this is the last meeting of the year, this will be our final meeting with Councilor Campagnone. And I just wanted to thank you on behalf of the residents of our city for your many years of dedicated service. We're grateful to you. And Councilor, I present this to you in grateful appreciation, distinguished recognition for your hard work and commitment. I believe you served on the city council for a total of 17 years, if we're doing our math correctly. And so I'd like to share this with you, Councilor. That does it for my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So you included most of the council requests in your report. Could you just, is there any update on the blue envelope? That was the only one that.
Yes. So the blue envelope program, the rollout of that continues. They're in the process of getting that committee off the ground in earnest, and so we'll probably have more to share in the new year. But that's something that continues to move along within the PD.
Thank you. Questions for the mayor?
I have a question, Mr. Chair, sorry, for the mayor. Regarding the bid for the RFP for the Seals Estate, I saw that there was an article December 12th that the RFP was pushed out to March 23rd. And I have a few questions for you if you'd like,
Sure.
or a request, I should say. And we can ask the questions on that day, if that's okay. So I'd like, if the chairman, through the protocol you require him to email you, to have our economic director, Mr. Jack Wilson, in front of us for the second meeting in January, or potentially the first meeting in February, whichever is convenient to your administration. The request is on that extension from December 17th that we were supposed to open the bids, and now we're postponing. I'd like to see what his marketing efforts have been, what, if any, requests or conversations he's had that did not come to a bid, if any. And I'm assuming that there's nothing on the table. That's why it was extended to 3 months later. And if you and his department had a thorough conversation as to if that's feasible to extend that 3 months without actually bringing it back to this body to see why it didn't make, if there are any changes that need to happen so that actual bidders are interested in that RFP. And I can send these in writing so that you have them spelled out. And so I'd like to see what has been done, what his recommendations are at that meeting, if it's, as is, waiting 3 more months, or if that, and the CAFO to give us the up-to-date expenses on the Seals Estate, and any consultant or grant dollars that we've spent for anything for those to be reported on, and any consultant that have done any work at the Seals Estate to report on the work they've done and where they are and what needs to be finished. Please.
Sure.
That's the
We can provide all that information to the council.
Thank you. There's also some questions that was sent by Robert DeFusco. He wanted it in public participation, but I'm going to ask them if that's okay, since we're on the topic. His questions were, he said, not surprised by the extension to the Seals Estate RFP. I would appreciate your feedback on the following concerns. Did any potential bidders participate on the October 8th RFP information session or attend the guided site on October 9th? Question mark. Did the city receive any questions or requests for information by November 19th deadline? Will the city amend the RFP to eliminate or mitigate erroneous estate requirements? Will the city consider creating an invitation for bid, IFB, to sell the estate artifacts? And 5, will the city retain marketing expertise to promote the interest and identify potential bidders? I look forward to that response. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'll forward that email to you.
Sure.
If you don't have it.
And I read out of the gate, as far as I'm aware, nobody attended that informational meeting who had an actual interest in bidding.
Correct. There was no one.
Right. And then in terms of the marketing conversation, we followed the path of advertising it. And of course, the standard places where you would advertise something like an RFP. But beyond that, there has been advertisements made with Historic New England, a couple different other publications and the like. I believe the Boston Globe. So we can follow up with a detailed report in answering the council's questions.
Thank you. Any other questions for the mayor? Moving on. Public service. Grant, you have a
Mr. Chair, excuse me. What about the solicitor request? I had one.
Sorry, Council.
Thank you.
So the 5th one on.
So I think I addressed this the last time. This is going to be a process where the legal department is going to have to review each of those roads individually and see whether or not there's enough evidence over the past period of time with what the city has done whether there's evidence to show that they were accepted. These are the streets that you're referring to that were on the DOT list and not on our list now at this point for some reason. So we will go through that process through the legal department, street by street, and do an analysis to see if we can bring those back for abbreviated acceptance based on the fact that the state has had those reported. That process with the state originates with us. So at some point, the city of Methuen reported those streets to the Department of Transportation in Boston as accepted. So I'm pretty hopeful that we should be able to move most of those, if not all of those, into the publicly accepted column. But we just have to put together a memo on each one and justify it.
And do you have a time frame when the process will start?
Well, we have started looking at some of them already, but we do not have a time frame for that, no.
I just don't want to bog you, like 3-6 months.
I would say it's going to take at least 6 months,
6 months,
to
okay.
get through that many streets.
Okay, thank you.
You have a question? Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Now moving on to grants. We have a public service grant, 31199-696 Washington Street. Install one JO pole on Washington Street.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Campagnone, seconded by Councilor Soto. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Public service grant 312-11482 Pelham Street to install one JO pole on Pelham Street.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Campagnone, seconded by Councilor Soto. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Public service grant 311-99697 Prospect Street to install one JO pole on Prospect Street. Motion by Councilor Campagnone, seconded by Councilor Cirillo. Discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Licenses, we have none this evening. Moving on to contracts. Contract C 2659, a 2025 extension of employment contract by and between the City of Methuen and Randy R. Hager.
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Soto, seconded by Councilor DeZoglio. Discussion?
I have a question, Mr. Chair, a point of information.
Go ahead.
Previous read had a number of 2658, or I have two numbers for this. I just want to make sure there's no changes to the contract, and that's why they have two separate contract numbers, or was that an error?
Probably just a clerical error. There's no changes to the contract at all.
Okay.
It's just an 8-month extension. It's till August, I believe. So,
Thank you.
anyone else have any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. C 2660 Tech Incorporated, 282 Merrimack Street, Lawrence, Mass. For preliminary transportation engineering for Broadway, Osgood, and Lawrence and Park Street in the amount of $167,000.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Campagnone, seconded by Councilor Soto. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. C 2661 Tech Incorporated, 282 Merrimack Street, second floor, Lawrence, Mass. Preliminary transportation for engineering for East, Milk, and Prospect Street in the amount of $99,500.
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Campagnone, seconded by Councilor DeZoglio. Discussion?
I have a question for the mayor. Is that the where they have that constituent has that big sign? It says Methuen fix this intersection.
East Milk and Prospect, it's right there before the intersection.
Okay.
There is indeed a sign that says City of Methuen, please fix this intersection. And here we are.
All right. So we'll knock on her door and say this was approved, hopefully. Thank you.
We're moving in the right direction.
Yes.
That's where the Grace House is. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. C 2662 McGovern MHQ Incorporated, 401 Elm Street, Marlboro, Mass. For a 2026 Ford Super Duty F-150 single rear wheel XLT four-wheel drive Super Cab and one 2026 Ford Super Duty F-550 dual rear wheel XL four-wheel drive super cab in the amount of $180,398.71.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Campagnon, seconded by Council Soto. Discussion. Council Valley.
I have a question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for educational purposes, what is the Greater Boston Police Council GVPC aim? MAPC? What is that?
Is the chief here or no?
The chief is the...
Police contract.
Yeah.
This is the mechanism for procurement, but
I didn't see that Maggie wasn't here. Good evening, Mr. Chair. So yeah, that's essentially it. So the patrolman's group goes out to bid for all of those vehicles. So it's essentially a state bid list that we can go out and feed off of. It's basically what it is, just a mechanism to get vehicles.
Okay, and extension through April 30th, 2026. Was that a pricing extension?
And it's an extension of the contract, right?
Okay.
So these vehicles need to be, because we buy them this way, we're not buying them off the lot as they are, so we ask them to be built. So that can take sometimes 6 months, which is a shorter time than it has been in the past. During COVID, we were going 8-9 months to get a vehicle. So that time period has shortened, so I think they have to extend the contract to cover the time it takes to put the trucks together.
Okay. Thank you, Director Bauer.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Any other officers and committee reports? Seeing none, we'll move into unfinished business. TR 2561, a vote to overturn the mayoral veto of a resolution recommending paving of 5 unaccepted roads in poor condition for the safety and well-being of public safety.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Campagnon, seconded by Council Soto. Discussion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is for the mayor. I contacted this lady in the state. Oh my God, where are my notes? Brianna Ortiz, she's the counsel from Municipal Finance Law, Mass Department of Revenue. So what she explained to me was that if the city of Methuen has adopted Section 9A on the Massachusetts General Law 200A, the abandoned bonds can be used for infrastructure improvements, including roads. I will forward the email to you and the solicitor as well, because I don't know what is the law about. 200A.
I don't think we've adopted that yet. We've been talking to the treasurer and about that. So, and you're talking about abandoned money, abandoned monies. I don't believe that they can be used. They can be used if the process is followed through the ordinance. That is true.
Because otherwise they need to be sent to the IRS.
Yeah, they'd go to the state treasurer's
To the state
office.
treasurer.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We have not, I don't believe it, I did look at that for the treasurer recently, and we have not found any evidence that we've accepted that, but the council
Can
and
we
the
work
mayor
on the adoption?
can have that accepted.
Okay.
I don't know how much money may be available, but the treasurer could
Almost $1
speak
million.
to that.
Okay.
I'm just curious, in that email, is she referencing that we're able to use those funds to pave unaccepted ways?
Infrastructure, including roads. Well, my question was for unaccepted roads, but she didn't use the unaccepted roads.
Okay.
We'll look at that.
Statement.
Yeah, we'll-
I will forward the email to you and to the solicitor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Do a roll call, please.
Councilor Campagnon, this is on TR
2561.
Yes. Councilor Zoglia.
No.
Councilor Pash. Yes. Councilor Soto.
Yes.
Councilor Cirillo. Yes. Councilor Valley.
Yes.
Chair Martin.
Yes.
So that's yes, 1 no.
Thank you. TR 2569, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a CY25 Sustainable Material Recovery Program, Recycling Dividends Program, municipal grant in the amount of $30,000.
So moved.
Motion by Council DeZoglio, seconded by Council Campagnone. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. TR 2570, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a CY25 Sustainable Material Recovery Program, Food Waste Cart Program grant in the amount of $25,000.
Second.
Motion by Council DeZoglio, seconded by Council Campagnone. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. TR 2571, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of fiscal year 2026 Edward J. Bryan Memorial Justice Assistant Grant in the amount of $19,231.
So moved.
Motion by Council Campagnone, seconded by Council Cirillo. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. TR 2572, a resolution authorizing a transfer of $70,000 from the General Fund DPW personal service expenses to the General Fund DPW other expenses to fund ongoing outsourced cleaning services at the Quinn Building.
So moved.
Motion by Council Campagnone, seconded by Council Cirillo. Discussion?
I have a question, maybe to the mayor. Is this in addition to what we did a few weeks ago, or with the request through the police chief?
This is second read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. TR 2573, a resolution allowing the city council members to opt into the city health insurance on the same basis as city employees. I need a motion to remove from the table
Motion
first.
to remove from the table.
Motion by Councilor Soto, seconded by Councilor Cirillo on the removal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Now on the main motion, TR 2573.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Cirillo, seconded by Councilor Soto. Discussion. Councilor Pitt.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity to speak on it. And also, thank you for agreeing to keep it tabled the last meeting. I felt strongly about the public having an opportunity to weigh on this, where it may or may not, affect taxpayers going forward. I did want a chance to, again, just speak on the issue. There's a lot of misinformation floating around there, especially on social media, about this particular proposal. I want to start by saying that it has always been an option prior to, I thought it was earlier, I know some of the members of this council actually voted on removing the opt-in option for councilors. But according to the CAFO, I got word that it actually ended on the 1st of January, 2024. So prior to that, councilors and elected officials always had the right to opt in to the health insurance plan of the city. Currently, part-time employees of Methuen, all of them, as long as they meet Mass General Laws, Chapter 32, Section 2, those requirements, they have the right to opt in to health insurance of the city. That's where we are now. This isn't arbitrary. This isn't self-serving. This is the way it should be. If part-time employees are allowed to opt into the city insurance, so should then elected officials as defined by Mass General Law 32, Section 2. And I'll read it for you. It states that an employee under these terms, and by the way, Methuen does not have his own ordinance on this. So in my research, this is the law that Methuen relies on to offer the health insurance opt-in to part-time employees in the city. And their minimum requirements are different than elected officials, but it says under this law that persons elected by popular vote may be considered eligible employees during the entire term for which they are elected, regardless of the numbers of hours devoted to the service of the governmental body. So what that means is, again, for the sake of argument under this law, elected officials are considered employees of the city and therefore should be entitled to the opt-in insurance. I also want to put to rest, this is not, we don't have self-funded insurance. I saw that floating around. We pay a split, and we pay the same split, again, that part-time employees, or we would pay the same split that part-time employees are afforded in Methuen currently. It's not free, it's not indefinite, it runs with a term of office, it ends with a term of office. Hopefully something like this, and was sorry to see it go, because with the exception of the last election cycle, we really have a hard time filling these seats. We really do. School committee, council, there's not a lot of people dying to get in these spots. Will this do it? Maybe, maybe not, but it's definitely an incentive for some people. And anything to promote people to run for office, I think should always be considered. The numbers floating around for the cost to the city for this particular plan were given if the entire body were to elect the highest paying plan. I wish the CAFO were here tonight. I did reach out to her to look 6 years back for numbers as to what it actually cost the city, how many public officials actually took and exercised that option. I can say that never was there ever a time that an entire board exercised that option. Statistically, it has just never happened. Most currently, 6 years prior, it was never more than 3. So the numbers that we're seeing out there are grossly disproportionate to what the city would actually pay out. I don't disagree with the public that taxes are rising, healthcare costs are rising. And I will say that aside from proposing this, whether or not it passes, we do need to look into alternatives. We need to look into getting our healthcare costs. It's not the elected officials that may or may not, put that huge number into play. It's the whole group. It's the whole group. And we need to look at going out potentially to bid, looking at other health insurance. We need to look at other revenue streams. Recently, I was informed that back taxes are owed to the city in an astronomical amount. And we need to look at things like that to bring in revenue, to keep our tax base and keep our taxpayers, paying what they're paying and not constantly have those increases. So I'll leave it with that. Like I said, we've always had the option prior to 2024. I don't think it is fair to eliminate it and penalize people for holding elective office, even though they fall under that definition. And the other thing I'd like to say that with the numbers that were previously enacted, with the numbers that the CAFO gave me, with those very few people who would actually elect to take the insurance, to buy in, to pay into that insurance, it would probably translate, and I wish you were here, but I'm guessing pennies for the taxpayers of Methuen. So just as a consideration.
Council Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make an amendment on the effective date, number 6. This resolution shall take effect on July 1st, 2026, only upon and subject to the City Council explicit appropriation of funds for this purpose in the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget. Any health insurance coverage authorized under this resolution shall terminate automatically upon a councilor's leaving office with no continuation, extension, or post-service eligibility of any kind.
I'll happily accept that amendment.
So I have a motion on the floor to amend by Council Valley, seconded by Council Cirillo, to change the effective date and all the rest of the verbiage that went with it to go from 7 to be effective of 7/1/26, and only if the budgetary numbers, if we approve the budget of 27. Discussion?
I just think everyone needs to take a step back for a second too, because it's not just the council. The Mass General Law states that all elected officials. And so here's the thing, is I'm not going to ever need the health care. So I just want that for the record. My wife's a public school teacher, and I get her health insurance. But we took it away because we increased salaries on the city council and school committee side. I just want to give some backstory to this. And we removed it from the school committee and city council. So you got to give it back to both in this. If you're going to revert back, you got to give it back to both. The second part is it's not funded by the council. It's funded by your salaries. Your salaries is what's going to be paying for this, which is why we took it out so that you got the increase in the stipend. You are going to be paying for this in the stipend. So if you're getting 10K right now, there is no funding here. The 90,000 will be the funding that you get, and it will be coming out of that stipend. It's not an increase to the salary. So I just want to be careful on how you guys word this amendment, because you're already funding it. And it shouldn't be just city council. It should also be school committee. So I would like to also amend it, add a friendly amendment to this amendment to say city council and school committee, and go from there.
Second. So I'd like to handle each amendment separately, instead of putting them both together.
Well, the friendly amendment adds to this amendment. So
am I okay with putting them together? Or?
If the sponsor will accept the friendly amendment, that's up to there's a motion on the floor to
There's a motion on the floor
and
to
a
amend
second, so
with the dates and if the budgetary is allowed.
So, Councilor Valley, you
Val,
accept
are you
the friendly
okay?
amendment to add school committee to that?
I do accept the friendly amendment.
Thank you.
So there's two parts to the amendment now. One is the effective date, if the budget and 27 passes with it, to fund it, and to add the school committee.
Correct.
That's the amendment that's on the floor. Any more discussion on the amendment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
So, 6 yes, 1 no.
6 no. 6 yes, 1 no.
Councilor Campagnon's a no
Roll
on
call.
the amendment.
Do a roll call.
Roll call.
please. $25.73 amendments.
For the amendment to TR 25-73.
Correct.
Councilor Campagnon. No. Councilor DiZoglio. Yes. Councilor Pesh.
Yes.
Councilor Soto.
Yes.
Councilor Cirillo. Councilor Valley.
Yes.
Chair Marsan.
No.
5 yes, 2 no.
Amendment passes. Now on the main motion. Any more discussion as amended?
And again, I just want to add that there is no added cost other than the contributions potentially from the city side, which comes from the insurance. There's a funding here that's provided, and there's always been a surplus here. So what I also want to state is that on the city council and school committee, those who do take it, again, it's coming from their stipend. There's not going to be an added cost to that stipend to cover that difference. It will come from your 10,000 if you opt into it, or your 6,500 if you're on the school committee. Thank you.
If I may, through you, Mr. Chair, for clarification from Councilor DiZoglio, could you give a visual, hypothetical to the audience? You just threw out numbers, but you're saying, I want you to know if you opt in, right? So it's a choice.
So you have a salary of
Yeah.
$10,000, that stipend.
No.
School committee is 6,500. There is no going to be any burden or fringe benefit added to that number to cover your costs. So as an employee, you are given a salary and then you have a fringe cost on top of that. There is no fringe cost on top of us. So we are like almost a 1099 W-2 employee almost of the city. So your $10,000 is your salary, what you contribute will be deducted from that insurance cost. So your insurance your check, which is about $670 a month you get, could be that whole $670.
Could be zero.
It could be zero that's coming to you. It could be covering your whole insurance, depending on where if you opt in. And if it's higher, you'll owe the city the difference because you're not covering your cost. So what's ever being deducted from your check, if it's not covering your insurance, you'll have to pay it back.
So,
But that's only
I
for
don't
your
think that's
pocket.
how this reads. You're saying, so right now employees in the city are receiving, I think it's 62% contribution by the city. So, I mean, that may work for some people depending on what plan you take. But if you take a family plan, the CAFO did a detailed analysis in her report. I would encourage the council to look at that because she ran those numbers.
So point of clarification though, if I take an insurance plan and I have to pay into it, my check is $10,000 a year. I'm not getting $10,000 a month. So my monthly payment, my monthly check that I get is $600. So if my insurance is $700, I'm going to owe the city $40. Are you saying that this resolutions, the city will cover it?
Well, the resolution allows you to participate on the same basis as employees. So it's exactly the same. The city would fund, say we fund, I don't think we're doing 75. We're doing 62,
I'll give the mayor the
right?
floor, too.
Yeah,
So-
we'll let the mayor answer that. He's better equipped to.
So for the PPO, the city pays 64%, the subscriber pays 36%. For the HMO, the city pays 75%, the subscriber pays 25%. So it's a different split depending upon whether somebody takes PPO, HMO, and so that's a factor. I would just keep in mind and be cognizant of this fact. Again, I'm not your dad, but I want to urge some caution where now with the amendment adding the school committee, just keep in mind that increased the financial impact potentially, and I would recommend against taking a vote. This would formally adopt the legislation because this is a second read, and I would just be cognizant of taking a vote to do that without having a revised financial impact statement per our rules.
I don't disagree with you.
I just wanted to state that.
But if I still have the floor.
You still have the floor, yes.
It's only been a year and a half that we've gotten rid of this then technically, 2 years. Because I thought it was 22, but the CAFO said 24. So that means it's only gone really 1.5 full cycle in the insurance. It'll be 2 years this cycle coming up. So I don't know what the impact statement was, but we should probably look at those numbers as what Councilor Pesci said on what it actually cost the city prior, because the numbers that are out there right now, I even think are grossly outnumbered too. And I'm not in favor or in favor of this. It doesn't matter. I think the number was exaggerated a little bit based off of the worst case scenario. And that's not what the historical numbers were previously. So I just want to put that out there. I know counselors that were on this insurance plan for 6 years. I know school committee members that were on this plan for their 6 years. There were politicians using this insurance plan up until 2024, quote unquote. So again, I don't think this is a exaggerated situation that we've never had before. So I just want to put it out there that if she's going to give us an impact statement, let's show the data from the previous 2 councils and school committees. Thank you.
And just one other thought to keep in mind, at this point with the city's current insurance plan, we're looking at in fiscal year 2027 an increase in health insurance costs of 18%. So just keep that in mind.
Just one point of information. We talked about GIC multiple times. I understand the chiefs weren't for it and the unions weren't for it. Unless they want to start seeing those numbers go back and back and back, we're going to need to start having those conversations. We're not the only city that has had this problem, and many cities around us have the GIC plan and are doing just fine. So I appreciate it.
Just one more point too, in terms of the numbers. During our school budget conversations, it was brought up that some of our employees, and I don't know specifically who, although they're contracted for the 62% or whatever, they're actually getting the 75. And when we were tight on money, we were looking to eliminate that. And the CAFO had mentioned we could do it very quickly to the tune of something of $1.1 or $1.2 million. I do think contracts exist for a reason. So I'm not sure the reason we're getting more, but that in itself would pay for this 6 times over if everyone took it. And back taxes, yeah.
So something to keep in mind, in the CBAs, there are references, in 2 of the CBAs, there are references to specific outlined premium splits. In every other CBA, and this is an inconsistency in our collective bargaining agreements, they list simply a minimum that would be acceptable to each of these unions that don't have a specific, it's set at 75-25, for instance. Now, going forward, the CAFO and I, we shared a plan with our department heads during our last meeting where we're going to set up a health insurance survey and we're going to present to our municipal workforce a couple different options to consider, whether it's an adjustment of the split, exploring alternative plans and the like, just because of the fact that the rising cost of health insurance is something that is impacting the private sector, it's impacting municipal governments across the board, it's something that the city of Methuen is not immune to. We can't escape, these rising costs. And so the discussion about next steps is a discussion that will involve our entire workforce so that we can incorporate the feedback of our employees.
Thank you.
With all due respect, Mayor, I've heard of our insurance being compared to the Cadillac of all insurances. And I understand that the employees want it. And while I'm here advocating for the elected officials to have the same rights, because I think it's fair, I do think it would behoove the city that no matter what the survey says, understanding if we have the Cadillac, we might not be able to give, and I would expect the same for this board, but whatever's offered is offered. We might not be able to give the Cadillac of all health insurances if we can't sustain that for everybody who falls under that right to get insurance from the city. So I appreciate, trying to get the feedback, understanding though that much like the health insurance was taken away, it's very hard to convince otherwise to put it back in, right? Because now it's an expenditure. Now we have the Cadillac of all health insurances. It's going to be very hard to sell people on taking anything less than that. So I just food for thought, because I do think that the numbers are outrageous. And again, it's not the handful of people on, even if we extended it to everybody, I don't think it's those people who are running the numbers up. It's the health insurance in general. It's just a very expensive benefit to offer. Thanks.
Any other discussion?
Second.
Motion by Councilor DeZoglio, seconded by Councilor Campagnon. Roll call on tabling, please.
Councilor Campagnon.
Yes.
Councilor DeZoglio. Councilor Pesh. Councilor Soto.
No.
Councilor Cirillo. Councilor Valley.
No.
Councilor Chair Marsan.
Yes,
3 yes, 4 no.
so it's not tabled. Any other discussion on the main motion? Roll call on the main motion on 2573.
Point of information. Can I have clarification on the main motion as it sits right now, please?
So we have two as amended. We amended it to change the effective date to be effective 7/1, and as long as the city council appropriate the budget number in fiscal year 27, and we also amended it to include the school committee.
Go ahead. It'll be effective only if it's funded.
Only if it's
Only
funded.
if it's funded.
Okay,
And
so-
it will include the school committee.
Yeah. can be
He can veto it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to look at the full impact. I'm not going to sit here and make an immediate judgment call on that. I need to take a look at the specifics. So
you still have the floor.
So I guess my question is to the solicitor. Could we retract from the school committee being included and add them in the future after?
We'd have to revote.
You certainly can amend it at a later date. I mean, different communities handle this in different ways. Some include elected officials based on salary.
Mhm.
So, there's a difference in salary between the school committee and the city council still.
Yeah, by all means, the point is not adding them, is because we don't have those numbers from the CAFO. Can I ask why she's not here this evening? I know we received a last minute email.
family members having a medical procedure.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. All right. Thanks.
You could add them later, though, to answer your question.
I could what?
Add it later.
Could add them later if you wanted to.
We just amended it too. All right, we're on the main motion. Roll call on the main motion, please. 2573, as amended.
As amended. Councilor Campagnolo. Can you read, I'm sorry, TR 25-73 on the main motion as amended?
A resolution to allow the city council members to opt into the city's health insurance on the same basis as city employees.
No. Councilor Zaglia.
Yes.
Councilor Peck. Yes. Councilor Soto.
Yes.
Councilor Cirillo. Yes. Councilor Valley.
Yes.
Chair Marsan.
No.
2 no, 5 yes.
Motion passes. TR 2574, a resolution of the Methuen City Council calling for a vote of no confidence in the superintendent of Methuen Public Schools and the Methuen School Committee,
So moved. Second.
as amended. Motion by Councilor Soto, seconded by Councilor Valley. Discussion.
Sorry. So on the resolution, I would like to make an amendment on page 2 of 2 to strike from the resolution paragraphs 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And my reasoning behind it is I think that it's better encapsulated in the general form in the front. And while I appreciate everything that's been said, and I don't disagree with it, I will agree to disagree that I think this vote will promote change. And again, I can agree to disagree, but I think whoever comes in here next will see that we're not okay with our numbers, and we're not okay with the way that things have been, and hopefully we move forward. So I do want to get rid of those where I do think they're a little too specific.
Second. Point of clarification.
I have a motion on the floor first. We got a vote on the motion.
Well, I don't know what it is either,
To
so
strike
could you be
them.
more
So
specific?
the motion is to remove from this, from this resolution on page 2 of 2, paragraphs 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
So where it says students have the improperly
So
classified?
from students have been improperly classified down to the paragraph where it says parents report having no meaningful voice.
Second.
Are you
The
including, I'm
the
sorry.
solicitor looks confused.
Well, I just want to make sure, are you including the audit results or not including that paragraph?
Which paragraph is that?
Whereas the findings of the school district audit,
Not included.
you're
That
not
is not
including.
included. That
Okay.
would be paragraph 8. Yeah,
Okay.
just by my numbers.
I have a motion by Council Pett, seconded by Council DeZoglio. Discussion on the amendment.
Move the question, Mr. Chair.
Roll call on the amendment, please. To remove 5 paragraphs from page 2.
Nick second. Nick second.
You don't have to second to move the question. Put moving the question on the amendment,
On the amendment.
not on the full motion. What are you going to do without me?
Okay, sorry.
This is on the
Counsel-
amendment.
On the amendment. Council Campagnone. Yes. Council DeZoglio.
Yes.
Council Pesh.
Yes.
Council Soto.
Yes.
Council Cirillo.
Yes.
Council Valley.
Yes.
And Chair Marsan.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Now, on the main motion, as amended. Discussion. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I just want to state my take on this. I shared a statement publicly a couple of days ago, but I just want to reiterate a couple of things, especially after hearing from members of the public. The problems are real. Problems have been festering for a very, very long time, reaching back to and beyond prior school committees. Some of the criticisms are valid. A lot of them are valid. But I want to share my take on what this resolution does, and more importantly, what it doesn't do. What I think the resolution does, and I say this respectfully, in my opinion, I think that the resolution creates division in a city that needs unity and collaboration, not more division and dysfunction. That's, in my opinion, about it. That's what it does. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't recruit a special ed teacher for Jillian's son. Doesn't do that. Doesn't help a child read. It doesn't help us find a new, strong, reform-minded superintendent. Actually could hinder that. It doesn't fix a single damn problem in our school district. That's what it doesn't do. And so all I'll say is this. I say this respectfully, I urge you to join me. Pick up an oar. Let's row together. Let's lead together. That's all I have to say about that.
Just one comment first. The reason I don't recognize you, Mayor, is I have no council sitting on this side, so I don't do it out of disrespect. That's all I can say. So, Councilor Cirillo.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'm going to disagree. One, this is not new. It's happened in other communities as well. And they've gotten a plethora of people from around the state, all 50 states applying. And this council has been rowing the boat with you when it comes to the schools. So to say that we haven't picked up the oars, we have. We've approved every request you required of us for the schools for funding, whether it was the budget, whether it's to repair some of the damages in school, or bring in people to clean the schools. This council has been there with you. We were there with you when you, by executive order, you wanted to merge the IT departments. So we've been there with you. And I will agree, we have huge problems, and that's what we're addressing. We're not calling to say, hey, there are problems, because I'm not leaving anywhere. I'm off the council next month. I'm still a Methuen resident. I still have grandkids in the school system. So just because we're saying this does not mean we're not here willing to help with the problems. And top it off, when this was put on, I've only received one phone call, two actually, former member McLeod and school committee member, soon to be member-elect Desaglio. Nobody else. And I reached out to you to have this conversation. So we've been in the trenches with you. Thank you.
Councilor Desaglio.
Just for the record, I called you too, Counselor. I just want to make sure you got that on that right.
I'm sorry.
But
The other Desaglio brother.
But, I was going to charter object this tonight. It is my constitutional right and the ability to do it. But I do know that there's a special meeting pending on the 22nd if I was to do that. So I did get that note behind the scenes. So instead of having that special meeting, because it would get in before this council, the next council takes place. Again, I just hope that this council understands that we need to build a bridge with the school committee and the school committee members elect in the next go around. I don't think we did that well in this last one. And so what I would say is, whatever this vote comes out to be or discussion comes from this, we need a solution. I don't want to see any of this next go around. The dysfunction is wrong. It doesn't solve problems. And it doesn't save face to any of us. So I know how this is going to lay. I know how it was going to lay from the beginning. I tried, Mayor. I tried the community to bridge that gap. But unfortunately, this is where we're at. We have 7 counselors, not 9. And 3 of them are lame duck going forward. You have 4 additional here playing the move on. And you have a new school committee coming in too. So I vow that I'll make some change on my end going to the next step. But I hope you as a community don't forget on New Year's. This is important that you still continue to advocate and push for transparent government and change. And I wish all of us that change and working with the mayor to find the real leader that's going to replace our current superintendent. Thank you.
Anyone else? He's already spoken. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I may, through you, I know that Ms. Guzman's in the audience. If I could ask her a question, if you would allow me to.
Yep.
Ms. Guzman, if you don't mind approaching the podium, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot again. I know your mother's here with you this evening. She approached me earlier. I commend her for joining you tonight, and I know how difficult it is to put yourself in the position you did last week. So I have a question, and it's basically, since last Monday you came and poured your heart out here in regards to your son. Has anybody from the school administration, any staff, anybody reached out to you to make that better or work collectively or bring forth a solution? Anybody from school committee, has anybody approached you?
The mayor has reached out to me for
Great.
us to get together and meet.
Great.
No one else from the school committee has reached out to me.
Or administration or
No, administration won't even look at me at drop off when I bring my son.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I commend the mayor for doing that and reaching out to you. I feel that as we are looking for solutions, that's what needs to happen. But I'll tell you what this body did after listening to you. The next day, the chairman and myself reached out to the state senator, and we asked for dollars for special ed. There's funding for gateway cities, and we said we want a meeting, which the mayor agreed to, and he supported us in that initiative. Because this council, regardless of the rhetoric they're doing out there on social media, this council is working for solutions. And we held tight not to overstep school committee and hold them accountable of what they had to do. But listening to you, that's who we're here for you and your children, regardless of the paychecks and the people trying to hold court of what they need in their pocket. Okay? So I want you to know this body, along with the incoming school committee, because I trust my colleague when he sits there, we will help find extra dollars and solutions. And so that phone call was made, and promises were made to us from the delegation that those dollars and that meeting's going to happen. We went to the highest ranking member for that conversation, okay? And that's something this body is willing to do for the schools of Methuen. So I want you to know that. And I want your mother, which I told her, I connected her with Counselor DiZoglio, that he will be a resource not only to her and to you, but to your child. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for reaching out to Ms. Guzman. And I hope every parent that reaches out gets the mayor to have that conversation and is able to get some resources. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Cirillo.
There is light when it comes to coming to the school committee. I know Councilor DiZoglio is going to be there, but there's one more person that I should also address as a school committee member now and in the future. Mary Beth Donovan. We've had conversations, whether we agreed or disagreed. She understands what it is on the educational side. And I trust with her on the school committee, and if anytime she needs help, she's more than welcome to call, and I'll jump in the fight along with her and along with DiZoglio and everybody else.
Any other discussion? On the main motion, TR 2574, as amended. Roll call, please.
Councilor Campagnone.
The main motion.
The resolution to call for a vote of no confidence for the superintendent of Methuen Public Schools.
Yes.
Counselor DiZoglio.
No.
Counselor Pesh. Counselor Soto.
Yes.
Counselor Cirillo. Counselor Valley.
Yes.
Chair Marsan.
Yes.
6 yes, 1 no.
Motion passes. Moving on to ordinances. TO 25-4. Petition to amend the zoning ordinance 121, 125, 129, 131, 133, Pleasant Valley Street. I need a motion to remove from the table.
Second.
I need a motion to remove from the table.
You made the motion.
I didn't hear you. Councilor Cirillo? Yes. Seconded by Councilor Soto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry. Discussion on the removal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous to remove from the table. Now on the main motion, an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance. Motion by Councilor Campagnone. Seconded by Councilor DiZoglio. Discussion. I'd like to just read the letter that we got from the planning board before we move forward. On February 13, 2025, Paul O'Hara Classic submitted a request for the City Council to rezone 121 to 133 Pleasant Valley Street from the residency to the business highway. The City Council reviewed the process and referred the petition to the Community Development Board to schedule a joint public hearing on September 25th. We had such public hearing with the City Council. Based on the packet of information submitted, the presentation made, and public testimony at the public hearing, the Community Development Board voted 4-1 to recommend unfavorable action on this zoning change. Chairman Steve DeFeo. Any discussion? Council DiZoglio.
I think the letter speaks for itself, but I just want to say I do feel for those residents, and I hope they can get the help. And I think what needs to happen, Mayor, is just kind of a wake-up call from that corridor. I know you live off that corridor as well. Sidewalks need to be better. Lighting needs to be better. It needs to be developed correctly. So I hope we look into that for the sake of the residents, because there are no sidewalks from that direction.
We take our lives into our hands when we walk up to get gelato.
Oh, getting your point. Got it. Yes, thank you. But, you know, with 110 going under development the way that it did, I'm really hoping that the state will look at 113 as well with our help. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So we got, just so you understand, we're voting to amend the petition to the zoning ordinance to change it from residential C to business highway. A yes vote changes it to business highway. A no vote leaves it at residential C, just so we understand. All right, roll call, please.
TO 25-4.
25-4, yes, to rezone it from residential C to business highway.
Main motion. Okay. Counselor Campagnon. This is TO 25-4.
Correct.
The Pleasant Street.
Pleasant Street one.
No. Counselor DiZoglio. No. Counselor Pesh. Counselor Soto.
No.
Counselor Cirillo. Counselor Valley.
No.
Chair Marsan.
No. Unanimous no to not. Motion fails. TO 25-19, an ordinance amending Article 4, Section 16-28, 1629, temporary repairs and reconstruction of private ways and unaccepted ways, funding options. I need a motion to remove from the table.
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Soto, seconded by Councilor Campagnon, to remove from the table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Now on the main motion, TO 2519.
Did you read it? I'm sorry, I was asking the mayor, Mr. Chairman, through you, if he read that ordinance, that change. We could have the solicitor explain it, but we amended it. It's basically reducing the threshold for the betterments.
I did read it. I have a couple of thoughts and concerns, namely regarding that threshold. I think that, right out of the gate, when we are talking about a betterment along, I'll just use the word.
Yeah.
Right now it's 75%, so you need, three quarters of the abutters to agree. And by dropping it to only 51, that potentially, and I'm just sharing this as a concern, that potentially could mean that there's a larger number of people who may not necessarily agree or be able to, fund, payment perhaps towards a betterment plan, but they're on the hook anyway because you had a simple majority of the folks who live on the street wanting to move forward. So, I think that if I, had a vote on the council, I do think that the current ordinance as it stands, I think it makes sense for the city, and that's ultimately what I need to be cognizant of here, especially from a financial standpoint. But, ultimately this is a decision for the council. I don't have a vote. But that's, I think, something that stands out to me as a concern that, I think it's a topic that warrants discussion. It's a topic that, I think it's productive for us to continue to have, especially on behalf of the very frustrated residents who, in many cases, have lived in these houses, in some cases, I know, since the early 1970s.
Yes.
And they just have this ongoing question, why the heck can't I get my street paved? And I get the frustration. But I think ultimately we need to ensure that we're proceeding in a way that is in keeping with financial sense, good financial sense for the city, and also with the law as well. And I know that's something that's being factored in, but if I had my way, that's something that I would raise on the council side as a concern.
The 51% threshold?
Yeah.
To what number?
I think having the 75 as it has stood in the ordinance is something that makes sense, where it provides for, I think, truly representative community engagement on the part of the folks who live in, say, whatever area, hypothetically, let's say, I know Nelson Ave has been floated out there, Creshire Lane, having that level where, if let's say, the other 49% disagree, because of this measure,
Yeah.
The simple majority would have the say. So I would just be cognizant of that.
So, okay, so my train of thought is, even on this floor, we have to have, that sometimes super majority on some votes, but for the most part, it's majority. And I thought 51%, it was a happy medium, in my opinion, because 75% was too high of a threshold. If you look at some streets where they have 7 homes and you have, or 7 or 10 homes, so it's, on each side, it's not so much a long street, but the ones at some section of the street, because they're maybe at the bottom part of the street, they feel that they get all the storm water and they have so much more erosion. But yet the ones above, because they don't get all that storm water, may feel that they don't need the street. So bringing down the thresholds holds those specific areas as well that are in dire need of the repair, because sometimes it's not the entire street, it's pockets of those streets that are really bad. And we keep covering those potholes and they get bigger, but at the same time they become worse and the street becomes worse. So I understand your point, but I feel that if 51% of that street can make the decision for the whole and get their street paved, regardless if the other 49 don't want to pay, because that's basically what we're talking about. And we actually need, for that 51%, which is the majority, right, of the street, should be the one deciding for the better of them. I think 75% is too high of a threshold. And I think the solicitor helped me with this research. And Mr. Solicitor, if you don't mind chiming in on the threshold. And we also said that we could look at it case by case scenario, where this body could say, well, you don't have to pay a betterment. We'll take money from the bonds that we adopted and we'll pay from there. Or you know what? We're going to have you pay 25% of that betterment and we'll pay 75, or vice versa.
That's true. I have no opinion on the merits of this, but yes, there have been issues with the threshold in terms of that, and you accurately describe it. Betterments are always involuntary, so if you meet the threshold, everybody else on the street has to go along with it, whether they want to or not. So they'll get a bill just like everybody else. The other change that you made in this ordinance would be the allowing the city council to adjust the amount of that betterment and reduce it by a specific amount on a case-by-case basis, depending on what the circumstances are. And those could be very widely depending on, where the street is or what's going on with the street or how long and how old it's been. So I would just add that these still, even though the council would vote under the ordinance, they still go to the mayor for his approval. So ultimately, he's going to have to find money to do it. Even if citizens come forward with a petition and the council says, yes, we agree, and we're only going to charge you 25%, there still has to be money appropriated to do the work. And then the betterment comes later. It may be a 5-year betterment, 10 years, 20 years, depending on the magnitude. It does give the city council some latitude in setting those parameters, which obviously make it more affordable for people the longer it is that you recover that money or the less money that you recover. So it does create some kind of relief from the larger cost of both repair and resurfacing.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Councilor DeZoglio.
I just have to be quick on this one, because if I sold my house on that street and I'm paying it back, I have to disclose that in the sale. What happens if it's not disclosed, just like some of these people that have bought properties on the street that aren't private?
I don't know what you mean, because once a betterment is assessed, it's going to appear on your tax bill whether or not it'll be there for people to see. Same as a sidewalk or any other betterment. So it'll be listed separately on your tax bill.
But you have to disclose that.
I don't think you have. I mean, it's public record. So, I mean, I'm unaware of anything that requires you to disclose that.
Okay.
But that would be, a realtor's going to have a better
Can I ask
answer.
my real estate friends here too? I mean,
Can we?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is it going to be on the title as lien? A lien is going to be placed?
If it's not paid, it would go to a lien status, correct? Yes. If the betterment weren't paid, it would go to a lien status. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
It would be treated just like taxes.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Mayor.
If I may just briefly share just two more thoughts, and then that'll be it for me.
If I may, point of information, sorry, Mr. Major, for interrupt you. So the betterment becomes part of your tax bill. If you don't pay your taxes, it becomes a lien. It's not that it's not like a condo fee or an assessment to a condo that, for example, I have to disclose I've been assessed $1,000 a month for XYZ months. And they have to be, the buyer would accept that assessment and then it'd be transferred to the buyer.
There's some feedback.
Okay, sorry.
Mr. Mayor, you have the floor.
Just briefly, I'm going to share two thoughts, generally speaking, about this topic. And I've shared this before, but one of the concerns that I have, and this is pretty basic, where we already have so many public ways that we are trying to actively catch up on in terms of repaving, bringing them up to speed. I think by adding to that list that we're continuing to try to get after some of these private, unaccepted ways, that's where obviously you can see, the issue that we have just in terms of administering this type of thing. Now, what I will point out is I think that we have an opportunity to take a step back and reassess some of these roadways that are unaccepted. We heard from a gentleman who lived on Constance Avenue where there's this, lingering doubt possibly, could there have been a clerical error, something along those lines, way back in the 1960s? Could there have been, simply a dropping of the ball in 1972 when a road in the West End was, paved and development went in, and somehow it just didn't make it through the bureaucratic process of acceptance at the time? Are there opportunities where, okay, say a road like that, maybe it is up to standard, maybe it is something for us to take a look at? I think that would be a very productive, one of the next steps for us to look at, simply because I think the goal should be to try to get as many of these unaccepted ways up to code as we possibly can, so that 50 years from now, we're not still having this conversation about accepted, unaccepted, etc. I think that should be the ultimate end game for us. So I just want us to be cognizant of those things, realize that we have a ton of public ways that we need to catch up on. This year alone, as I mentioned, we were able to pave roughly 12 miles of roadway across the city. Next year, we're slated to complete another 8. That'll be a total of 20 miles of roadway that we've repaved in 2 years alone, which is remarkable, especially given recent context. So we're making progress. This does add some complication to that, but nevertheless, if this is something that we're able to work out with residents in a way that is in keeping with the law and what have you, then, it's something that we would look at. But those are just two thoughts that I wanted to share. Thank you.
Any other discussion? On TO 2519. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
TO 25-19. Council Campagnon.
Yes.
Council DeZoglio. Council Cash. Council Soto.
Yes.
Council Cirillo. Council Valley. Chair Martin.
Yes.
6 yes, 1 no.
Thank you. TO 2518. Amend the zoning ordinance by adding Cross Street Planned Residential Development District as set forth in Article 14, Section 14-1 to 14-9. Request of Attorney Mark Wazinski.
So moved.
Motion by Council Soto, seconded by Council Cirillo. Discussion? I'm going to read before we move on, I'm going to read the letter from the Community Development Board. Sorry, yep. So a motion to remove from the table, Councilor Cirillo and you, Councilor.
Thank you.
All those in favor from removal from the table?
Thank you. Yes. Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Now on the main motion. Motion by Councilor Campagnon, seconded by Councilor Cirillo on the main motion of amending the zoning ordinance. The letter we have from the Planning Board. At our regularly scheduled meeting held on December 10th, 2025, which immediately followed a joint public hearing with the City Council on the subject matter, the Community Development Board voted unanimously 5-0 to recommend favorable action on this proposal amending the Methuen Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Any discussion on 2518? Councilor DeZoglio.
Thank you. I just want to say, I know there's been some opposition for this because of the traffic studies. I just want to say the road improvements that this would come with the necessary road improvements of traffic that does not exist today from that hotel. If that hotel was a Hilton, Hyatt, Sheraton, function hall, all the above, you would see that traffic on any given day. It would be just like Andover, where you see the Chateau and the Industrial Parkway with the other hotel. This is traffic that we just haven't seen, and this road was developed for that type of commute. Except Cross Street is going to bring road improvements to this area and that intersection. This is smart development, and in an area that needs economic growth, especially in that area, we have the barbecue restaurant that's struggling. We had the Cappy store on the corner that used to be a pharmacy, no longer a pharmacy, which they came and they might reopen that pharmacy if this came. Mm-hmm. And it's not a car wash, folks. It's still a bar and restaurant, the Clatta. Mm-hmm. And the owner of the Clatta stated in his own words that the only reason why he saved that property was because of this potential development. Now, is that a gamble? Sure. But it shows how much he was invested in that gamble for the city. I think this is smart growth for Methuen, and it cleans up that decrepit area next to that crappy hotel that is just sitting vacant right now. So I just want to be mindful, if that property was vibrant and bustling the way it was intended, we might want to have a different conversation. But that hotel is not vibrant, not going to change, and that's going hopefully away in the next few years. So I think this development is smart growth for that district. Thank you.
Councilor Cirillo.
Thank you. Seldom Councilor DeZoglio and I agree. But as the economic development director myself, these are the things that we need to start looking at. We're looking at places for Methuen, where we're going to start developing, how we're going to do tremendous commercial impact. And the development like this is going to bring that, especially to the area. I'm not going to reiterate what Councilor DeZoglio said because he hit the nail on the head, but it's also going to bring in more tax dollars, and we're not still believing the same rock for funding. Because, Mr. Mayor, we are going to have to fund those schools correctly. We have to fund a new police station. Actually, we're going to need to build another 2 schools, most likely. So this is how we start doing this. We can't be scared of developing, but if we're doing it correctly and smart, we're doing justice and to the community in a whole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am excited for the new growth, and I'm also ecstatic that it's not in the east. Every building that is multifamily comes to the east, so thank you, Cross Street Development, for going to the west. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Roll call, please. TO 2518.
Counselor Campagnon. Yes. Counselor Zaglio. Yes. Counselor Cash. Yes. Counselor Soto.
Yes.
Counselor Cirillo. Yes. Counselor Valley. Yes. Chair Marsden.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Unanimous. New business resolution TR 2575, a resolution approving the request of JR Builders Incorporated for the city to approve the layout of Cooper Lane for the purpose of accepting Cooper Lane as a public way.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Soto, seconded by Councilor Campagnon. Discussion?
I'm just very confused by this because it's a developer, it wasn't sponsored by anyone here or the mayor's office. Like, this seems very easy, and I felt like accepting a road is very hard.
So this is just one step in the process. This is the first step, then it has to go back to legal. It's got 5 more votes before it's going to come
so
back
this is
to
one
us
of
for one
5.
more.
All right, sweet.
This is to vote to, the first read is just to vote to your intent to lay out the road, then it will go to community development for recommendation, come back again. Similar to a zoning change, but same process.
I'm just glad I don't have to be around for this.
Yeah.
All set, thank you.
Any other discussion?
This is one of the things that makes me happy when I see them on the agenda, so thank you. JR Builders.
I would just note too that this is the right package. So this package has the deeds, it has the schematics, it's been reviewed by Public Works, so it has all of the required elements. And admittedly, it's not easy, and it's certainly more difficult for folks to do once the developer has transferred that property to them and it's years later. So the trick is to make sure that developers who do these developments follow through with this process before the development is completely sold off and they've disappeared.
And it was always his intent to do that because he didn't convey the land, the right-of-way land, to the landowners. He kept it separate so that we could accept it as a public way.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't have the opportunity to drive by. Is this like a new subdivision?
It is a new subdivision.
Okay, I just want to make sure that it meets the requirements. Yeah, to be accepted.
Engineering has signed off on it.
Okay,
That's what the.
because
what's the
we didn't
pack-
see that here.
the
Okay,
package.
thank you.
We're going to get a second read at this once the Community Development Board gives us a recommendation to accept it. We're just saying that we accept the layout of the road.
Okay, thank you.
The first read for us. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Resolution TR 2576, a resolution authorizing expenditures of $7,500 from the Methuen Commission on Disability for Methuen Community Studios for closed caption services.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Campagnon, seconded by Councilor Soto. Discussion?
I have questions. I'm not sure if that's to you, Mr. Mayor, or to someone from, and I didn't get to watch that meeting. So one of my questions was, it only says $7,500, but it doesn't tell us if it's live captioning, archived captioning, equipment, software, how many meeting hours, if it's to cover all meetings. So I was just curious if that $7,500 was specifically for one project, or is that for example, for our council meetings to have the captioning? And if you don't have that answer, that's fine.
I can get that answer for you. I don't have the meeting minutes from when
Okay.
they approved it. And there's also, an accompanying letter that came from Methuen Community Studios with the request. But from what I understand, this is a great step forward for folks who require those services in terms of public access television and the like. But that specific answer I can get for you. And also I want to mention that you'll see that there's an EPA requested on this.
Yes.
I'm operating under the assumption that this is in all likelihood the final meeting of the year, and this is something that the commission has requested that we accept before the end of the year, so that's why I did that. But I can confirm that, Vice Chair.
Okay.
I wish I had the minutes in front of me.
All right. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I thought I was under the impression that this was for anything that was being viewed on Methuen Community Studios, both government and access. I just think it's for closed captioning. I don't know if it was for translation, because I've been asking for that for your show, because I've been wanting to watch your show, and I can't do that, unfortunately, without my wife watching it with me. But ultimately, I think that's the goal, is to get all shows closed captioning, and then potentially for language as well.
Okay. Very good. It's a step forward, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Now they're asking for an EPA on it.
Second.
I have a motion from Council DeZoglio, seconded by Council Soto. Discussion on the EPA. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
TO 2521, an ordinance amending the winter parking ban. Motion by Councilor Campagnon, seconded by Councilor Cirillo. This is going to be for a recommendation to have a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Campagnon, seconded by Councilor Cirillo. All those in favor to move it to a public hearing?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Any other business for the good and welfare of the city? Mr. Mayor.
Just wanted to briefly share something that is new here in the building. So a couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to volunteer down in the tunnel, the customer service tunnel, and I had interactions throughout the day with residents coming to the building to do a host of things in terms of city business. And one of the things that I recognized was we needed to have, I think, more opportunity for our Spanish-speaking residents to be able to access things in the building. And I talked about this today with the solicitor as well. With Luis Santiago's help, now when you come into the building, you see the directory for City Hall. It is now bilingual. It's 2025 and bilingual directory. So small step, but we'll keep moving forward. And with that, I'd like to wish the residents of Methuen, our Jewish neighbors and friends, happy Hanukkah. Tonight's night 2. And of course, assuming we don't meet again before the end of the year, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Council Petch.
I just wanted to say I did have a chance on December 8th to have the first City Council office hours at the Senior Activity Center in Methuen. It was awesome. And actually, I would implore any of the city councilors and some of the new ones, I know they're here or watching anyway, to reach out to Susan Riccio and pick a month. If we all do a month, we'll have continuous office hours there. And you know, a couple of the seniors that came up to me, it was as easy as sending an email to the appropriate person in City Hall, and the situation was remedied literally with an email. So I would implore all of you to reach out to Susan Riccio and get our office hours going there. I think it's a great resource for the seniors.
Thank you. Council DeZoglio.
Thank you. As this is our last meeting, I just want to say thank you to this council. It has been a pleasure. We don't always agree, but there's decorum. To my favorite counselor, Ms. Campagnon. Yeah, keep looking. It's been a pleasure working with you for multiple years. And to Mr. Cirillo, I wish you the best of luck as well. And to the incoming counselors, just remember that this role is thankless. I'm sorry. No, this role is very much, I've been privileged in this role for the last 6 years. And for 10 years of it, I was reminded tonight by you, Joyce, that I met my wife, got married, and had 2 kids in the 10 years that I've been doing this. I know, I have. And I have to say, I have to thank my family, my wife and my kids for giving up those nights, for being here. And then also to my community that they've allowed me to share this with them. And to a friend that I've known for quite a while who I am very proud of sitting across from me. You know, if I can be where you are in the next 6 to 10 years, I'd be very happy. But just saying, I'm not going anywhere. I am staying very close to Methuen. I've made this my home, and I've made this my community, and I am proud to serve it and continue to serve it. So I wish you all the best of luck, and I look forward to working with each and every one of you continuously going into the next chapter. Thank you.
So you can't be him in 6 years. You already have 2 kids.
You have 2 more.
Just one last thank you to the councils that are outgoing. Thank you for your service. The city of Methuen thanks you for your dedicated service to the city and your time spent there. So thank you, everyone.
I just want to thank people for letting me serve them.
Thank you, Joy.
Oh, and Merry Christmas.
Anything else?
If I may, Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
I want to thank Councilor Cirillo, Councilor DeZoglio. Of course, I don't have to be your Uber driver anymore or your PCA.
See how lucky you are?
You may call me if you want to come and enjoy us. I want to thank you, Mr. Chairman, for a wonderful year as my wingman. Is that what I should say? But you poured a lot into me this year, and I truly appreciate you. Of course, our clerks for always being there, the solicitor, Mr. Mayor, as we work together and communicate more. I look forward to 2026. So, yes, thank you.
Thank you all.
I want to thank everybody. I mean, we've had our challenges, we faced them, and we persevered. I think in this short time we've had together, we've done some amazing work. As much as people don't think we have hard work, but we didn't shy away from any of the challenges. And it's been a pleasure working with everybody. And like I said, I'm not going away. So, Mr. Mayor, you know, you and I still have a conversation pending. And for the rest of the councilors, I'm still going to be here. So I'll be around.
Last time, motion to adjourn?
Motion by Council DeZoglio, seconded by Council Campagnone. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. 9:46. Thank you.
So no special meeting, right?
No.